Seems like the snow is starting to melt in, I guess, the lower elevation areas, but in the higher elevation, it's sticking around still. Let's see if we'll get any more, I guess, for the remainder of the year. And what I read today, how about this one? Apparently, a drone company, it says here, I believe this is a company here in Canada too, got permission to have their drones fly over people and so forth in Boston. This one says a drone company just got rare permission to fly over people and cars in Boston. Here's why. As it says here, Canadian drone manufacturer Draganfly has already dipped a toe into Boston's airspace with a futuristic medical drone delivery pilot. Boston's skies may soon be abuzz with more drones zipping overhead and crisscrossing traffic. The Federal Aviation Administration recently awarded Canadian drone manufacturer Draganfly a waiver to fly over people and moving vehicles in Boston, a quote, rare milestone the company's CEO said unlocks new potential for the technology in industries like medicine and public safety, saying, quote, as we continue to lead the way in UAV technology, this achievement underscores our vision of a future where drones seamlessly integrate into our daily lives, enhancing safety, efficiency, and innovation. It goes on to say Draganfly has already dipped a toe into Boston's airspace, teaming up with Mass General Brigham on a futuristic medical drone delivery pilot. Announced in early 2024, the project explores the possibility of using drones to deliver medical equipment and supplies to patients in MGB's Home Hospital program, which offers hospital-level care at home. Draganfly recently reported the successful completion of its initial test flights for the Proof of Concept Research and Development project, including takeoff and landing within hospital infrastructure. While those flights didn't actively contribute to care, they helped demonstrate how drone deliveries could minimize logistical delays in transporting medical supplies or laboratory samples. I guess that's not too surprising, as there's a lot of companies trying to get into the space and trying to be the first. I guess what's surprising is it's a Canadian company going to places like the US to do stuff like this, especially with all that talk, for example, with trade wars, tariffs, and all that. And at the same time, makes you wonder why they're not doing it here, like within this country instead. Like, first and foremost, could it be things like regulations and all that as well? Or is it more just about money because there's a bigger market down there in general? Although in terms of the use of drones, in that case, you could use it in terms of trying to help people. But how about this one, where apparently it says here the Mafia are using FPV drones to assassinate people? This one says Russia Mafia uses FPV drone in assassination. An FPV drone has reportedly been used to assassinate a Russian businessman, marking the first known instance of such technology being deployed in a Mafia hit. For those not in the know, Eastern European newspapers often refer to the targets of Russian Mafia hits as businessmen because they don't want to risk becoming identified as businessmen themselves. According to Russian portal Ramafia, the hit took place in Transbaikalia, where a businessman was allegedly forced to sleep with the fishes using an FPV drone loaded with explosives. The incident would demonstrate that the Russian Mafia is beginning to adopt tactics refined in the ongoing conflict in Ukraine, where FPV drones have played a crucial role. Russian corporates have announced plans to involve local veterans with drone operating experience gained from the military action in Ukraine to see if they can counter the Mafia drone operators. That's kind of disturbing, I guess you could say. I've often heard the term when it comes to like Mafia and gangs, there's quote drive-by shooting. Is there going to be fly-by shootings now when it comes to the future with this stuff? And then another note I read today, which is kind of interesting, it continues with that story how in the US there's all this, I guess, investigation and audit of these funds called like US aid, and they're trying to find out where they're going to. Well, this is kind of interesting again with that theme of how I guess media sources were apparently getting a lot of funding, even though I believe the funds should be used more for humanitarian reasons, for example. And this one, what was interesting is it was provided to the publication Reuters, and it's a description in terms of what the funding was provided, which is making people really skeptical. It says here in the description of what the funds were supposed to do, it says active social engineering defense, large-scale social deception. So you can imagine when a lot of people heard that initially, they're like, social deception? Were you being paid, for example, like these media, to lie to people, to make stories up? It kind of matches that theme, which a lot of people say, for example, the stuff they read is propaganda and so forth. But from reading this, the other perspective is what this is supposed to mean is countermeasures. For example, if there's sources that are trying to give false information and so forth, this funding is supposed to be a way to help, I guess, equip those media sources to counter that. So it's supposed to be good in that regards, but either way, it's still media sources getting funding in these ways, huh? Which I don't think that was the intent originally. It just gets more interesting as the days go by, I guess, in terms of what they uncover. It makes you wonder, what would they discover, like here, for example, in Canada, if you really did like an audit of government expenses and so forth to see where all the money is going to. All right, see you guys later.